Hey all, welcome to Share Trek. This is Raj here. Friends, I had a wonderful vacation and thanks for sticking by the channel, and also special thanks to the members and the Patreons for sticking with the channel while I was away for around 15 or 17 days when no new material was coming in. So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And apart from all the great things I enjoyed, one of the most interesting things was I was able to speak to a relative of mine who I have known for a long time, part of our family. But we are exchanging notes. I have retired and she's also retired. And we found that Maha, that's her name, she's also very interested in doing a lot of social work. And she has got expertise in training, motivation, and she's been a corporate executive for quite a while. So she has a good high profile and she can add value to the channel. And I said, yeah, why not? The more the merrier, and we can do much better by improving the quality of our programming and the range of programming, including motivational videos and interviews and so on. So I would like to introduce you to Maha. And Maha, can you please give a brief introduction to our audience about where you come from, what are your motivation to help us in this channel and so on, and your background?
Sure. Hi, Raj. First of all, I'm very excited to be here. And our meeting at Mumbai during the marriage was really wonderful. And I'm amazed with the kind of work that you've done in this field. And it was really something that it came across as something very new to me, that someone would do something in this particular field. So since you asked about me, I am actually an image consultant and a soft skills trainer. But even before that, I was a gazetted officer for the central government, the income tax department to be more specific. Somewhere down the line, I felt that no, training is my passion. And if I were to describe myself in one line, it would be I help individuals and organizations to look better, feel better, and perform better. So I think everything is encompassed in that, right? So when it comes to individuals, I feel everywhere people lack confidence for some reason or the other. They are emotionally unstable for some reason or the other. And it is my uh, duty or my responsibility towards them. Uh, you know, uh, since they are my clients, I get it
It's
out
kind
of
of
them.
your calling.
My calling, yes. So it's the universe, has guided me in that path, I feel. And I help them with, if it is their clothes that is going to give them confidence, I give it to them. If it is emotional intelligence, I help them with it. So many things, whether it is work life balance, whatever it is. And when it comes to corporates, it's a whole lot of things, right? It could be leadership, it could be team building for new inductees, so much. And I've worked with a lot of NBFCs, I've worked with government organizations, even banks, the Reserve Bank of India, and so many other companies and organizations.
I think your talents are
Yeah.
going to help our channel because we can do motivational videos with you, and we can also handle viewer questions and other things where you can add more value than I can, because I'm narrowly focused on therapies. So welcome on board. And what do you have in mind for today?
Okay, so, while we were discussing, you spoke so much about the HIV virus, and I've been reading up a lot of things, some things which you sent me, which were real eye openers uh, as to why HIV is difficult to tackle and things like that. And the one thing which excited me was about this new therapy called A5374. I've been reading about AIDS and HIV since 2 decades now. And every time that I've been reading about antiretroviral drugs to treat the disease. But I thought, why isn't there a permanent cure? It is about prolonging the lifespan, but why not a permanent cure? And this kind of excited me. Okay, there is something there, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that got
Yeah.
me excited. And I said, let us do something like an interview whereby, I ask the questions as a layperson, and I would represent a lot of other people who are looking for a cure, right? So I thought, let it be a question answer kind of a thing. And
Yeah,
since
that sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great because when you're coming in from the cold, you're likely to mirror what an audience of our channel might have in mind to ask. Because when I do these videos, the last 2.5 years, I've just been giving a monologue. It's a one-way communication, and I think I'm explaining it nicely. But then in the comment sections, there are a lot of questions. Most of the times I answer them. Sometimes it is too much to answer because it will take too much time. So I do a separate video for that. But with an interview format, I think we should experiment with that. I believe I sent you the write-up I had about A5374, which I sent
Yes.
across to you. And your suggestion seems to be good. So why don't you ask me questions? And I can answer those questions. I can try to answer those questions. Of course, I must put a caveat. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so my knowledge is going to be only up to a certain level. But if we dig deeper and I don't have an answer, I will always say that, let me go and check, read up, and come back to you later. So
I'm sure you have most of the answers. Let's shoot right away, right? Okay, so my first question to you is, Raj, could you give a brief overview about this therapy as such?
Yeah, so actually A5374 was not in my radar. One of our subscribers said that, Raj, can you do a video on A5374? And that's what I was working on while I was on vacation. And then since we started talking to each other and you were going to contribute into the channel and all, we got into this interview mode right now. A5374 is also known as the triple immune strategy for HIV remission. And it is in a phase 1/2A clinical trial. And it's conducted by AIDS Clinical Trial Group. The short form is ACTG, which happens to be a global network focused on HIV and other infectious diseases. And this study aims to evaluate the safety and tolerability of a combination regimen among people living with HIV who initiated treatment shortly after acquiring the virus. So that's in a very high level, a brief definition of A5374, a very high level. So we can drill down later on. Yeah.
Okay. And what is the current status right now? Where is it? At what stage is it?
Actually, we have a clinical trial going on. But before I explain the status to you, I think I would like to do a brief explanation of how A5374 works. That is basically because it will give our audience a better idea of why the trial could be longer or shorter, or those kind of things. So the therapy basically consists of 4 treatment components. The first one is a therapeutic T-cell vaccine, which is designed to stimulate the immune system's T cells to target and destroy HIV-infected cells. And this vaccine aims to induce killer T cells targeting functionally conserved regions of HIV. And when we talk about functionally conserved regions of HIV, that is because HIV mutates very rapidly, and there are certain regions of HIV which are very, very important for it to propagate. So any mutation of HIV that has mutation in this conserved region cannot propagate. So the only strains that will propagate are the ones which have these regions intact. So the vaccine does a very, very smart thing by getting the T cells to target the functionally conserved region of HIV. The second aspect out of the triple is it has 2 broadly neutralizing antibodies. These antibodies neutralize HIV, preventing it from infecting new cells. And the discovery of BNABs was largely facilitated by screening large cohorts of HIV-infected individuals for the presence of antibodies capable of neutralizing a broad spectrum of HIV strains. These studies identified rare individuals, often chronically infected, who developed BNABs after years of HIV exposure. Subsequent research has focused on characterizing these antibodies, understanding their mechanisms of action, and exploring their potential applications in HIV to prevent and to treat HIV. And then the third component is what is called as TLR7 agonist. So it's an immune booster that enhances the overall function of the immune system, potentially aiding in the control of HIV. TLR7 stands for toll-like receptor 7, that is the full form. And it's a protein in the immune system that plays a key role in recognizing particularly single-stranded RNA viruses. And when TLR7 detects viral RNA, it triggers immune response to fight off the infection. This receptor is found on certain immune cells, such as dendritic cells and B cells. So dendritic cells are part of the innate immunity, and B cells are the ones which have spliced receptors, and they are the army of immune system. And activation of TLR7 can lead to the production of interferons and other cytokines, which help to activate other immune cells like CD8 plus T cells and coordinate the body's defense against viral invaders. So TLR7 also plays a role in autoimmune diseases when it is inappropriately activated, leading to the production of autoantibodies and inflammation. So that's what we have. And then I come to your question, what is the current status of this therapy? So in terms of current status, I would say that A5374 is a multi-site randomized placebo-controlled trial conducted in collaboration with the University of Oxford and Gilead. So Gilead is a very big pharma company which has a lot of therapies focused on HIV. And it aims to assess the effectiveness of a triple active therapy consisting of the T cell, two BNABs, and the TLR7 against placebo. Placebo means a medicine that does not have any quality. It's like chalk powder, for example. So it has got no medicinal value, but people might be mistaking it for a medicine. So you give a group non-medicine and you give the other group the medicine, and then they don't know what they have been given, and then you see the results. The primary hypothesis of the study is that the triple active therapy will lead to greater viral control following analytical treatment interruption, which is a temporary pause in HIV medication monitored by researchers. And then they will compare that to the placebo group and see how it goes. And the study will have around 45 participants aged 18 years and older who have initiated a combination antiretroviral therapy within 28 days of acute HIV diagnosis. 30 participants will receive the active study treatment and 15 will receive the placebo. And the combination regimen in the trial includes not only T cell vaccine, but also BNABs and TLR7, as we mentioned. And these components kind of work together to enhance and amplify the immune response against HIV. While the T cell vaccine stimulates the generation of killer T cells, the BNABs neutralize HIV, preventing it from infecting new cells. And the TLR7 agonist boosts the overall immune function by boosting the B cells and dendritic cells. While BNABs have affinity to a broader range of antigens, TLR7 is like a security sentinel that alerts the immune system as soon as viral RNA is found. So this study duration is going to be for 2 years for each participants. And I think they have not mentioned this, but I think that they will continue the study until statistically significant data is accumulated. And then they may go back to the FDA, submit it to see whether they can go to phase 2 or what is called as a pivotal study, based on which FDA can give an approval to market the product and bring it to patients. So that's what I think is going to happen. And after enrollment, participants will continue taking their HIV medications and will receive either
I was
the
about
active...
to ask you that, whether
Yeah.
it is going to go along with the medication or are they going to stop it for a while? And if so, at what stage would they be stopping it?
Yeah, in most of these HIV therapy trials, the most important thing is to see the effect of the medicine. So one of the ways they do is they have the placebo group and they have the active group. Now, when they look at the active group itself, as long as the antiretroviral therapy is on, the viral load is going to be down anyway. So they won't know whether it's their medicine that is working or the ART that is working. So the only way for them to know that is to stop the antiretroviral therapy. That is called as ATI, or analytical treatment interruption. And as soon as they do ATI, the antiretroviral effect is gone, and any new HIV particles that are coming in into the blood, the multiplication of HIV, it has to be tackled by the therapy itself. And that's where they'll find the efficiency of the therapy. So what they would probably do is they might take blood tests and try to measure the CD4 T cells, how many are there. They'll try to see how many CD8 plus T cells are there, what is the viral load in the blood for after 7 days, after 15 days, after 13 days. So that's what the scientists will determine. They'll have a study plan. And after about 16 months in the study, participants will stop taking their HIV medication and be closely monitored for changes in HIV viral load, CD4 T cell counts, and symptoms. So that's how it's going to work. And the study will compare the length of time that participants in the active treatment and placebo groups can control the amount of HIV in their blood while they are off the medication. So which would mean that at the end of the study, they'll either be able to say that this is going to cure permanently, or you need to take this dose once in every 1 week, or once in every 2 weeks, or once in 2 months, whatever that duration may be. So
Great.
I hope that explains, but yeah, if you have any questions, I will try to handle that if possible.
Yeah. So I was just very keen on knowing, where is this study being conducted actually?
That's a very good question. Actually, I generally do not, it doesn't come to my mind to talk about this in most of my videos, and my audience ends up asking me the question, where is the study conducted? How can I become a volunteer in the trial, and so on? So thanks for asking that question. And I think this study is going to take place in around 10 sites in the United States and Brazil. So there'll be 10 sites in United States, and also there'll be some sites in Brazil. I don't know the exact number. And this is going to be sponsored by National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. The short form is NIAID. It's part of the National Institutes of Health. And NIAID has got a lot of experience sponsoring HIV therapies like this, and for clinical trial. And overall, the goal of A5374 is to demonstrate that enhancing immune responses to HIV through a combination of novel treatment can lead to sustained suppression of HIV treatment, HIV during treatment interruption, potentially moving towards a functional cure for HIV.
So what is your overall thought about this entire therapy and the approach being taken?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Is it possible that people can go into remission?
Yeah,
What
this is again, this is one of the questions that most of the audience asks me in every video that I do. Sir, is this a functional cure, or is it a sterilizing cure, or is it a antiretroviral therapy? How often do I have to take? So thanks for asking that question, Maha. I think uh, personally, first of all, I would like to say that I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. So whatever I'm saying, take it with a pinch of salt, because the scientists know better. We have to trust the scientists. So having acknowledged that, the only component of this therapy that I'm very, very curious about is the T-cell vaccine component. So in my mind, I'm thinking that if GP120 has stronger affinity to CCR5, okay? So HIV virus tries to find a CD4 T cell. CD4 T cell has CCR5. GP120 attaches to CCR5. Think of them as two magnets attracting each other. So once GP120 attaches to CCR5, it can infect the CD4 T cell. So typically, HIV goes in search of CD4 T cell. In this case, we are engineering the CD4 T cell to go in search of HIV. So if the affinity of the CD4 T cell to the conserved region of HIV is stronger, then CD4 T cell will latch very quickly to the conserved regions of HIV, and it will succeed in doing its objective of destroying HIV. However, if the GP120's affinity to the CCR5 receptor is stronger, then that is likely to latch first. So this is critical to determine if the T cell will destroy HIV or HIV will infect the T cell. This is how I understand based on everything that I have read. And of course, as I said, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. So I would say that I would rely on the scientists to have already thought about this. In my simplistic mind, I'm thinking that if CCR5 was disabled in these T cells, then it would have been even safer. However, the additional two BNABs and TLR7 agonists may do the trick, because B cells will also be on the prowl for HIV. So we need to wait and see how it turns out. The scientists always know what they are doing, and that study plan won't get approved for in-human studies if they are going to have flaws in it. So I think that they have a foolproof plan, and this should work. And I'm eagerly looking forward to learn new things about this CD4 T cell vaccine.
One more question I had in mind was, any particular age group which is being specifically taken up for this study, or is it?
Yeah, I think this one is for 18 plus. Typically, pediatric patients are not taken in most of the therapies, so it's always 18 plus. So that's the information I have. And those one of the things that I would like to stress is that when a clinical trial starts, there are volunteers and people want to become volunteers, but along with that comes commitment, because the scientists are looking at steady participation by the volunteers for the entire duration, so that they can collect meaningful data and in the right time that they want, so that they can present it to FDA. So volunteers, 18 plus volunteers, need to be able to provide the time and the attendance as and when the scientists need them. And they are also given what is called as a information brochure and explanation on what is going to happen to them when they participate in this trial, what the therapy does, what are the risk factors and everything. So they are given informed consent. Once they get informed consent from the volunteers, then they are enrolled. And the company which is doing this study is going to spend lots of money in order to process each of these volunteers. So it is very important for the volunteers to be consistent and meet their commitment to give blood samples, to attend to take medicines throughout the regime, so that the trial is successful. But unfortunately, life events happen, people die, people get other complications not related to the therapy, but they can no longer participate. So new patients have to be taken in to give the statistical sample that is required, and that extends the time of the clinical trial. So Maha, you asked a very good question, what is the age limit? But I thought I'll add this extra, because the other question that people mostly ask is, when is the trial going to finish? When is the next phase going to start? So it all
Two
depends on the
years, you
quality
said,
of
for the
volunteers.
entire, yeah,
It all depends on the quality of volunteers.
quality.
And yeah,
Yes,
if
yes, yes.
they are all attending and there are no life events happening, then it's going to be fast. And with a disease like HIV, ATI has to be done, and you have to see the gestation period also matters, how long it's going to
Correct.
take. But typically, if everything goes well, I think a 6-month cycle should be good enough to give the basic information about the effectiveness. But when people want guarantee that if I take this medicine, I'm going to be secure for 1 year or 6 years or whatever, then it's logical to think that you need a 6-year trial. So what the FDA does at that time is it gives conditional approval for the therapy, and it also allows the company to say that if you take this
Mm.
therapy, you are covered for X months, because that's the amount of time that FDA had seen it being effective when they gave approval. And as they collect data, the company is undertaken to give data from all the patients. So FDA gets a whole lot of data, statistically relevant data. And based on that, they can give further advisory to the company to say, okay, now we have sufficient data, and you can say that your medicine has got the capability to protect the patient for 1 year. So progressively, they can improve the directions. So that's
So
how
let's keep
it
our
works.
fingers crossed that
Yes.
this works, and there are no
Yes.
unforeseen circumstances for the study group, and just everything happens very smoothly, and there is finally a cure for this.
Yes, absolutely. Because many people are having a tough time with this. Uh, Especially, I mean, I would have expected that people who have been infected for maybe 5 years or 7 years are going to be really frustrated. But what I find is newly infected people are very freaked out and frustrated, and they want the cure like yesterday. And and the ones who have been infected for quite a while are really tired of taking ART and the side effects. And but they also know that this is a difficult virus to handle, and they have this feeling that the pharma industry is delaying a cure so that they can make money, and so on, right? So all those factors are there. There are some conspiracy theories which have taken root in the community, and there are also very positive people. I mean, in our channel, I have seen a bunch of positive people who are, always optimistic, and they're focusing on their career. And there are so many famous people who have got HIV and they're doing well in their careers. And for them, it's just a question of taking the medicine to manage the condition until a cure is found. And they're not going to let that stop their life. So a mission of our channel, Maha, where I think you can help us a lot, is, motivating our audience, because you have expertise in that area, so that they can get the necessary willpower and motivation to focus on their career. It's like there is this English saying, don't let the tail wag the dog. The dog has to wag the tail, not the
Wag
tail
its
the
tail.
dog. So maybe you can help them in that.
I will surely.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I'm going to be committed, and I hope I can motivate a lot of people who are watching the channel already, and I hope we get a lot more viewers who
Yes.
really need to watch what's happening in this area. You know,
Yes.
and with your contribution, it's really doing very well. I'm really excited to be here.
Me too. Thanks for joining us, Maha. And I would like to say that many people are waiting for a cure. This is a difficult disease to tackle. Every new therapy is an extra shot at the target. I would also like to thank you for joining this effort to bring information to this channel. I mean, you're going to bring a lot of expertise, and our channel is going to be surprised with the kind of videos that you might drop into the channel. Because it's an entirely different dimension of programming that you're likely to bring to the channel. And thanks a lot for your support, and our audience will look forward to your videos, Maha. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to. Thank you so much, Raj.
Thank you very much, Maha. I think our audience will receive this first video very well. And of course, we'll have ongoing contributions from you, and the audience could probably expect videos from yourself in the near future. And I have this, and I have this special appeal for all our audience. We are going to have this members only Zoom call. And in the inaugural Zoom call, Jeff Galvin wants to be there to talk to you. And he's going to talk to you about AGT 103-T. Maha will also be there to help us moderate the Zoom call. And I want all our members to join in full force so that you can take advantage, because it's not every day that you get an opportunity to talk to a CEO of a gene therapy company that is creating a HIV functional cure. So this is your opportunity to listen from Jeff Galvin himself about AGT 103-T, what it is, how it is, where it is right now, and what he wants from you. And you in turn can ask him questions for which he will give answers. So be there in full strength. And if you're not yet a member, this is the best time to become a member, because afterwards you will not be able to see the Zoom call, because we are not going to put it in the YouTube channel. It will not be recorded. So this is the only opportunity in which you can participate with Jeff Galvin. So see you in the membership section. See you in the Zoom call. And thanks, Maha.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you once again.
Bye for now, guys.